Hello students, we are going to start with English 1, Unit 5, Rip Van Winkle. So this is the story of the man who was very good but he was very lazy, and when he wake up after 20 years everything is changed. So let us see the story. This story is about Rip Van Winkle, a good nurtured but lazy man who goes away into the hills and falls asleep. When he awakens 20 years later, Rip finds that quite a few things have changed. So when he was good natured, but he was very lazy man, and one day when he went up to the hills he got asleep, and when he wakes 20 years after 20 years, what the other things it is changed. There are many things that is changed. Now see the story. Many years ago, at the foothills of the Catskill Mountains was a little village. In the village lived a simple, good-natured fellow man named Rip Van Winkle. So it is talking about many years ago. At the foothills means at the hills of the foot. There was a foot of the hills of Catskill. Catskill is a name of mountain. So there was a little village, and in that village lived a person named friend, means it's a friend named Rip Van Winkle, and he was very good. He was a kind neighbor, ready to help anyone. Everyone in the village liked him. So he was very good neighbor, means very kind neighbor, and he was ready to help everyone. He helped everyone, and everyone in the village liked him. The children of the village shouted with joy whenever they saw him because he played with them. He taught them to fly kites and shoot marbles and told them long stories. So the children of the village liked that Rip Van Winkle very much, and whenever they see this man, they always fill with joy, and this man taught him to fly kites and shoot marbles and also tell them stories. The only problem with Rip was that he was very lazy. So as I told you, the Rip was very nice person, but he was lazy. He did no work on his own farm and just idled away his time. So he was doing nothing in his farm. He has a farm and he was doing nothing in it and just sitting idle, means not doing anything and sitting idly. His fences were falling to pieces. Fences means that in the field there is a railing of the wire. So that railing was falling down into pieces, means that fences was of no use. It was old and it was falling down. His cow was going astray, means his cow was roaming here and there because this Rip was not taking care of the cow, and the cow was going here and there. Weeds grew on his farm. Weeds means unwanted plants which we have to cut on the field. So that was growing in his farm. Rip's constant companion was his dog named Wolf. So Rip has a friend, a companion means partner. Rip has a partner, constant partner was his dog, and his name was Wolf. To avoid work, he would walk away into the forest with his dog. So as Rip was lazy he didn't like to work, so to avoid the work, he walked into the forest with his dog. One day Rip just walked on and reached the highest part of the mountains. It was late in the afternoon when he reached there. So one day as he was walking, he walked so much that he reached at the highest part. You know that the Rip was living in the foot of the hills. He was living on the foot of the hills, and one day he was going on the hills and he walked and he reached at the highest part of the hill of the mountain, and it was afternoon until he reached there. Tired after his long climb, he lay down and began daydreaming. It was soon evening and he realized it would be night by the time he reached his village. So he was tired by this. After walking this much, after reaching the highest part of the mountain, he was tired, and now he lay down and started daydreaming. And it was soon evening, and he realized that when he could not reach his village at the foothills till night. See, this is the man, Rip Van Winkle, and all the children love him, and there is a dog that is his partner, Wolf. Suddenly he heard a voice calling out, Rip Van Winkle, Rip Van Winkle. So suddenly a voice, he heard a voice of his name, Rip Van Winkle, Rip Van Winkle. He looked around and saw a short old man with thick hair and a grizzled beard walking towards him with a barrel. So suddenly he saw back, and he found a man with a very short man, that was old man, and his height was very short, his hair was thick, and grizzled beard means grey beard, and he was walking towards him with a barrel. Barrel means a container. So he was walking towards him. He made signs to help him carry the barrel. So that short man, that old man, made signs in front of Rip to carry that barrel. Rip hurried to help the stranger, who caught his hand tightly. So Rip was now helping that stranger, who caught his hand tightly, means that stranger caught his hand, and now he was helping him. Together they reached a place where there were some more odd-looking men playing nine pins. So now together, that short man and Rip together reached at a place, and there was another person also, there was another man also, and they were playing nine pins. It is the game which is played with balls, and the 9 persons are playing, so it is nine pins. They were all dressed the same way, and all of them had beards of various shapes and colors. So the dress of all the men were same. All the men were wearing the same dress, but their beard was different shapes and colors. Even though they were playing a game, their faces were serious, and there was silence. So even though they all were playing the game, see, when we are playing a game, our faces are filled with joy, we are happy, but when they were playing the game, their faces were serious, and there was silence. The only sound was the noise of balls, which echoed in the mountains like thunder. But the only sound which was coming was of which was echoed in the mountains. In the mountains, see, whenever in the mountains area we are speaking, our voice echoes. So it was her. So Ball's voice was echoed like a thunder. As Rip and his companion reached them, they stopped playing and stared at Rip with a fixed gaze. So when Rip and his companion, that short old man, ripped there, everyone stared at Rip. Everyone was looking at Rip like fixed gaze, means like surprise. Rip was really frightened. His companion emptied the contents of the barrel into glasses and made Rip drink it. So now Rip was frightened. He was really frightened, and now his companion emptied the barrel, that container emptied into glasses, and made Rip drink it. Rip obeyed as he was trembling with fear. So now Rip obeyed their decision. Rip obeyed what they said, and he was trembling with fear. Since he was thirsty, he drank a few more glasses and slowly fell into a deep sleep. So he was very thirsty, and so he drank the glasses, and now he fell asleep. On waking up, he found that he was at the place where he had first met the old man. So when he wake up, he was asleep after drinking the glasses. Now he wake up, and he found that he was at the place where he met first time that short old man. He rubbed his eyes. It was bright sunny morning. Surely I have not slept here all night, thought Rip. So now he rubbed his eyes. He slowly opened his eyes, and now it was bright sunny morning. So it was morning, sunny morning. And what Rip thought that I have not slept here all night. See, when he met that old person, it was evening, and now Rip was fall asleep in the evening. So when he wake up, it was bright sun. So he thought that I have not slept here very much. Means it was I have not slept here all night. He looked around for Wolf, but he was nowhere. So he had a companion partner that was dog Wolf. So he looked at the wolf, but he found nowhere. Rip whistled for him, "Wolf, Wolf," he then shouted. So Rip started shouting, calling Wolf, but he was nowhere. No dog was to be seen. Where has this dog gone? He muttered to himself. He began to descend the mountain to go back to his village. So then dog when he doesn't found his dog, he muttered to himself that where this dog has gone, and now he started going down the mountain to his village. As he neared the village, he met a number of people, but he didn't know any of them. The villagers also stared at him, equally surprised. "Who is this man?" said one. So when he reached his village, there he met a number of people. He met different persons, but he was knowing no one. He doesn't know anyone, and people also the same way the people also doesn't know him. They all were surprised by seeing this man, and one person asked him that who is this man. "I have never seen him before," said another. "Look at his long white beard and his wrinkled face." So another was saying that I have never seen this man. Who is this? And look at his white beard, he has long white beard and his wrinkled face. On hearing this, Rip stroked his chin, and to his astonishment, he found his beard had grown a foot long, and it was all white. So now, on hearing the one man saying that he has long white beard, Rip stroked his chin. Rip looked at his chin, touched his chin, and he found that it was, in a surprising way, he found that he had long white beard that was very long. An old woman walked up to him and looked at his face for a moment. So an old woman went to him, to this Rip Van Winkle, and looked at the Rip for a moment. Then she exclaimed, "It is Rip Van Winkle. Welcome home again, old neighbor. Where have you been these 20 years? Long 20 years. So after seeing Rip, the woman explained that you are my neighbor and it has been 20 years. You are coming here and you are welcomed. So Rip came down the hills after 20 years. You can see here there is a long white beard also of Rip Van Winkle. So we will see now the exercise of the unit. So let's see the exercise. Lesson 5, Rip Van Winkle. New words: foothills, catskill, good-natured, fences, constant, companion, daydreaming, realized, grizzled, barrel, tightly, nine pins, silence, echoed, thunder, gaze, emptied, frightened, obeyed, trembling, muttered, descend, equally, wrinkled, stroked, astonishment, movement, exclaimed. Word meanings: idled away means wasted, means not doing anything, constant, steady. Companion means partner, realize, to understand. Descend means to move down, to come down. Barrel, a wooden container. I have told you that it was container. Foothills, near the lower part of a mountain, means at the hill's foot. Grizzled, with grey hair. Stroke, to rub gently, astonished. To be very surprised. Familiar, known to you, means we know you. Make sentences. Now you have to make sentences. Idled away. He was good-natured boy, but idled away his time, means waste his time. Companion. My mother is my best companion, means my best partner. Realized. He realized his fault when he could not score good marks in the exam. Descend. The injured man struggled to descend down the stairs, means to come down the stairs. Barrel. He bought a barrel of kerosene. Constant. My pet dog Tom is my constant companion. Trembling. The old man lay trembling in cold astonishment. The little girl looked at the witch in utter astonishment, means utter surprise. Now complete the following sentence. Now you have to complete. Rip's village was situated at the hill of Carthill Mountains. The children of the village love him because he played with them. How he played with them, told how to play kites, shoot marbles, and told long stories. Means Rip was telling them to fly kites, how to shoot marbles, and also long stories. Wolf of the dog was his constant companion. The villagers stared at home because they did not recognize him, long beard and wrinkled face. The old woman who recognized Rip was his old neighbor. Now answer the following questions. What was the only problem with Rip Van Winkle? So the only problem with Rip Van Winkle was that he was lazy. He was good man, he was good nurtured man, but he was very lazy. What did Rip do on reaching the highest part of the mountain? So on reaching the highest part of the mountain, Rip laid down and began daydreaming. So on reaching the highest part, he was very tired and he laid down for some times. Describe the stranger he met on the mountain. So you have to describe that how the stranger was. So the stranger was short, old, and had thick hair and a grizzled beard. He was walking with a barrel, so it was very old and short man. What was strange about the man playing a game? So the strange thing about the man playing ninepins was that even they were playing a game, their faces were serious. Means there was silence and their faces were serious. What did Rip see on waking up? So when Rip wake up, he saw that he was at the place where he had first met the strange old man. So when Rip saw, what did Rip saw? He saw that he was at the place where he first met the old man. What did Rip find out on returning to his village? On returning to his village, Rip found that that his coming was after a gap of 20 years. Nobody recognized him. His beard had grown a foot long and